All right, everyone, prepare for an amazing confrontation between Bill Maher, the brave voice of real-time, and MSNBC's outspoken Joe Scarborough, along with billionaire Mark Cuban. The way it all starts, with Maher boldly lauding Elon Musk's technological accomplishments without holding back on his, crazy tweets, will astound you.
The guy who I think epitomizes the good, the bad, everything in between, and just it's sort of a microcosm of America, is Elon Musk. Because this week, he had an amazing week. He caught, this is from Politico, he pulled off an engineering marvel where he launched the largest, most powerful rocket in the world, and on the first try, caught the 23-story tall booster.
Insane.
That brings it up in midair, with using chopstick-like mechanical arms. We made a little video called Elon Musk's Week that encapsulates this. Would you show it? It'll just take a few seconds. Look at that.
That's insane.
That is amazing. And then this.
That's insane too.
That's just the insane guy. That's my point. Is that that's the same guy. This is such a game changer with exploring the stars with the rocket, but he also, the tweets, FEMA used its budget ferrying illegals into the country instead of saving American lives. Treason. That's the same guy. He also tweeted, Mark Cuban and Rachel Maddow are the same person. Don't believe.
Oh my God. You just heard the show. You could be one of the world's greatest entrepreneurs, literally of the last century, and be a troll.
Imagine the tension when Mark Cuban's name is mentioned. Hold on tight, because the major topic of discussion is the controversial subject of political disinformation.
Let's talk about why we've talked about entrepreneurs and what makes America great. You know what makes our economy and what sustains our economy? The rule of law. And that's what I believe is at stake at this election. We want a fair and equitable approach to the rule of law. The great thing about America is an idiot makes a decision like that based on politics instead of based on what their job is. You can take it to the courts. The courts will overturn it, and I guarantee you they're gonna have that decision overturned, and they're gonna have to find another reason, a better reason, a more relevant reason to deny.
He'll learn a harder lesson. He'll just move more of his production and more of his launches somewhere else, to Florida or Texas,
exactly.
Wherever. They'll learn
What
the hard
about
way.
small
But
businesses?
it's just the attitude
small businesses
that I find scary.
Who can't afford to go to court.
They're far too willing to stifle freedoms, including speech, for the sake of safety or misinformation, sometimes which is coming from everybody. It's, no one has a monopoly on it, or just power.
This debate is a prime example of the fierce ideological struggle that exists in today's uncertain society between political correctness and freedom of speech.
The right thinks that the left is in a very different place with free speech than they have been before, and they're not wrong. They're not wrong. This is arrogant. You don't punish somebody. It would be like if we stopped Henry Ford from making the cars because we didn't like what
But can you take one anecdotal example? One idiot, right? Truly an idiot to stop.
This is not an idiot. This is someone with power.
An idiot with power is not unusual.
Okay, but that's...
I said, he's got everyone's attention by now, congratulating Elon Musk on his incredible achievement of launching a huge rocket and precisely catching it. Like, really? It's incredibly beautiful. Maher then makes a sharp turn and draws attention to Musk's less admirable social media statements. And you know it's going to get heated at that point, folks. Before you know it, Joe Scarborough has thrown in his own, rather less sophisticated thoughts into the debate. Scarborough criticizes Donald Trump and the misinformation that, in his view, has contaminated American politics without skipping a beat. He states, "Listen, this is a serious problem with serious consequences." Mark Cuban is right there, voicing his thoughts, making sure that neither side dominates the discussion, while Maher insists on keeping the emphasis on the principles of free speech. Stress levels noticeably rise.
What drives me crazy is this past week, I don't want people to listen to me. I don't want them to listen to you. I don't want them to listen to anybody. I want them to listen to what Donald Trump says. And this past week, Donald Trump said that he was going to use the military and the National Guard to arrest his political opponents. He was asked if he would back off of that.
He said no.
And he said no. In fact, he doubled down. He talked about Nancy Pelosi being evil, her husband being evil, Schiff being evil, talking about arresting them. He said he was going to execute the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff because he was disloyal to him. He told another chief of staff who was a general, I wish my generals were like Hitler's generals.
It's a new season of The Sopranos. It's crazy. I mean, it really is.
But people, you tell people this, and they go, oh, he didn't say that. You show them the clip, and then they go, he doesn't mean that.
He doesn't. That's it.
And
that's when they say you have Trump derangement syndrome. And I would just like to say to my Republican friends, it's not deranged to fear this.
No.
It's not deranged to find this alarming.
No.
It is what?
I said,
Consider this. Scarborough is against what he sees as the unjust treatment of the media, especially when it comes to figures like Trump using their platforms to spread beliefs he considers damaging. You can almost feel the frustration in his voice. But Bill Maher isn't having any of it. Without hesitation, he reminds everyone that this is a free country. The back and forth and verbal sparring are like watching a live high-stakes game of chess. Then, with his usual candor, Mark Cuban joins the debate. He expresses his frustration over a system that appears to stifle anyone who dares to openly express themselves if they disagree with the prevailing narrative. Cuban asks, "Hey, in my day, did nobody care about the rule of law anymore?" To be honest, you can understand his point. He talks about Elon's ongoing legal battles, where Musk's plans for more launches were allegedly delayed because of his outspoken political beliefs. And this irritates Maher to no end. His argument is simple. The right to free expression should never be curtailed just because it goes against the state's objectives. Come on, it's time we stopped using our basic rights as a political tool, he argues. But Scarborough counters that it's about accountability, ensuring that no one, no matter how powerful, is allowed to spread whatever they want just because they can. And then Scarborough drops a bombshell. He cites recent, absurd threats made by Donald Trump, including declarations that the military should be used to capture political rivals, confront media critics, and even execute those who oppose him. Scarborough's words? Loaded, to put it mildly. Maher fires back just as fiercely, pointing out the absurdity of Trump's statements and questioning why more isn't being done to expose him. Scarborough then accuses Maher of letting other media figures, who he believes are equally culpable, escape scrutiny. The dispute is relentless. The conversation gets even more heated when Maher accuses a certain board of obstructing Musk's goals due to political interference. Scarborough strongly opposes the idea of restricting major technological advancements based on political leanings. He insists, it's not about that, it's about using influence responsibly. Scarborough strikes Mo back. Cuban shakes his head and insists that if political bias prevents progress and innovation, then there's a serious problem. What's next? He asks. Are we going to put up walls around ideas now? Interestingly, Maher seems to agree. The conversation couldn't be more intense. It's like two trains colliding in the middle of a political argument. Every statement is carefully heard by the audience, each carrying implications for the greater debate on what free speech truly means. Do words even matter if they're suppressed before the public can hear them? Maher poses this question with wide-open eyes. In the end, there's a deadlock. But was that really it? Scarborough continues to push for safeguards against misinformation. Maher, standing alongside Cuban, argues for the importance of the rule of law and remains a steadfast advocate for free expression. One thing is undeniable. This debate highlights the deep divisions in contemporary American politics. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think media personalities like Trump and Musk have too much freedom? Or should there be some form of checks and balances? So, what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you don't want to miss out on the hottest celebrity news, make sure to subscribe to Daily Finder.